Siento que se arrodille. Bono año crío, bono año hidro. Mi amor, son las 8:50. ¿9? ¿Lo dejas a las 10? No, yo creo que. Oh, sí, a las 10 lo dejé. Que aquí me voy en Val Nacional. Val Nacional todavía. ¿Qué más todavía Val Nacional acá? No me puede dar mago el abismo, un poquito de problemas. Vamos a la. Ay. Y aquí. Sí. Ok.
outlines your fate. Witness. Teamwork is dreamwork.
There is no escape. Torn to oblivion.
No, my sword. Ring cutter. Everybody stand back. You're toast. Nice and slick.
Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down.
At the frying pan, it's the fun. Let's light it up. Rain outlines your fate. No, my sword.
Illusion shattered.
Booba, get them.
Blaze over.
No touching. A sight to behold. Right here. Dear me. Look at you, Boozle. Catch me. Pick you some bullets. Torn, retrofuse. Allow me.
All hail. Access denied.
Sketch.
Pick you some bully me.
Diana Special. Covenant of the Deep.
Let's move on.
Rest and rebuild.
This is long overdue.
Shaken and stirred. Sketch.
Bueno, sí se hizo.
There is no escape.
Body of rain outlines your. Eat this. Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's light it up. Let me weave you a verse.
Illusion shattered.
No, my sword. Out of the frying pan. I'm going in.
Now you shall perish. There is no escape.
Ring cutter. Everybody stand back. You're toast.
Torn to oblivion.
I'm going in. Booba, get them. No, my sword. Rain outlines your fate.
Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish.
Allow me. Look at you, Boozle. Shaken and stirred.
I'm always watching. Emerge.
Torn, retrofuse.
Born of icy. A brash maneuver.
Hold the line.
All hail. No touching.
Diana Special.
Sketch. Let's move out. Right now. Emerge. Right now.
Covenant of the Deep. Yeah. here. Emerge. Billowing surge. Yeah.
Vamos bien, vamos bien.
There is no time to act. No, my sword. Let me weave you a...
Nice and spiked.
Everybody stand back. Let's... Inazuma shines eternal.
Eat this. I'm surprised him.
I'm going in. Shine down. Rain outlines your fate. Huh?
Nice and spiked.
Here we go. Teamwork is strength. Rain cutter. Torn to oblivion. There is no escape.
I'm surprised him.
Everybody stand back. Time to act. Body and mind. Let me weave you a verse. Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down.
You're toast. Mama, get
Teamwork is dreamwork. Huh?
Esta va a ser la dura.
rest and rebuild. No touching.
Right now, right here.
Shake it and stir. Sayonara special.
Mierda, no le hago daño.
Next on it. Hold the line.
Show them. Emerge.
Ha, I'm here. Sketch. Look at you, Boomtail. Torn, bankrupt you.
Nothing lasts forever. Right now, emerge. Right here.
Shake it and stir. Think you can pull it?
Access denied. For Rex Lapis.
Sayonara special. Ha.
Rest. Uphill battle. Born of ice and frost.
Shake and sketch.
¡Hueputas!
Emerge. Access denied.
Can't handle your drink.
This is long overdue.
Think you can bully me? Let's go, let's go. Billowing surge. Allow me.
Born of ice and frost. Right now. Emerge. Right here.
Ah. Sketch. Think you can bully me? Sayonara.
Hola Fabiana, ¿cómo estás?
Blaze over. Access denied. A sight to behold. Right now.
Oh. Sketch.
Bueno, uno menos.
You can bully me? Look at you, Boomtail.
This is long overdue. I can fix this. Come on out. Emerge. Right here.
Yantre, estaba duro. Bien, bien, aquí andaba tiempo perdido, pero ya tocaba volver a jugar un rato. Y entre, está bien duro el nivel 100. Ok, el corcel. Aquí. Y acá, esto me la juego con el Nacional. Si arriba me la juego con el Nacional. Ah, sí. Es que como estoy un poquito quemado por el sol, pues no se nota que tenía cámara. Abajo, un mago del abismo. El generador. Aquí es Chongli para defensa. Final de cocina. Hacer este y este. No te preocupas estos. No, estos mientras que los congelen no hay problema. Estos con fuego les hago daño. Y el generador también. Creo que la juega.
No, my sword!
Nice and spicy.
Let's light it up! Everybody! Dream cutter!
Now you shall perish. There is no escape.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
At the frying pan, into the fire.
No, my sword!
Shine down.
Witness the power of good.
Illusion shattered.
Everybody stand back! Rain outlines your...
Torn to oblivion.
Está.
Nice and spicy.
Teamwork is dreamwork! Time to act. Rain cutter! I'm going in!
Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down.
Let's light it up! Everybody stand!
At the frying pan,
No, my sword! Let me read you.
torn to oblivion.
Vamos, muérete de una vez.
Illusion.
Se cargó el escudo de nuevo.
Teamwork is dreamwork! Let's...
Gracias, gracias.
Rain outlines your...
Nací en Costa Rica, pero vivo en Denver, Colorado.
Booba, get them. Inazuma shines eternal.
Order guide you. Gather!
Hold the line. Torn, bring refuge.
Stabilize.
Access denied.
¿Tú de dónde eres?
This is order. Solidify.
Time for a light show.
Stabilize.
Allow me. For Rex Lapis. No touching. Billowing surge.
I will have order. Gather.
Hold the line. Go Bishop down.
Vamos, vaporizados, vaporizados.
Born of ice and fire. Allow me. Blaze over. Access denied. Torn, interrupt you.
¿Cuántos? 3 magos del abismo. Así la hago.
Hold the line.
Stabilize.
Born of ice and
Order guide.
rest and rebuild. Billowing surge. This is long overdue.
¿No me dijiste de dónde eras? No, ya casi termino el abismo. ¿Qué, papucho?
Papi,
Ah, qué bueno, brother.
para mañana.
¿Cómo los vas a descongelar?
Déjalo ahí. ¿Cómo lo dejo?
¿Mm? Brother, mételo en la refri adentro.
Abajo.
Sí, y yo mañana los saco en la tarde, un ratito ya para hacer los tomas que en la noche. O de Nicaragua, cerquita de donde vivía antes, porque yo nací en Costa Rica. ¿Qué parte de Nicaragua? Managua.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
Shine down.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire. Yours.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's light it.
Illusion shattered.
Let me read you a verse. Know my sword. Everybody stand back.
Torn to oblivion.
Lo menos,
There is no escape.
lo menos.
Rain outlines your face. Huh?
Nice and spicy.
Huh?
Illusion shattered.
Yeah.
There is no.
Not good. I can no longer.
Puta, puta, puta. Me van a matar. Me mató. Puta que se cagó en mí.
adventure. Going in. Rain cutter. Time to act.
Inazuma shines eternal.
No menos.
No, my sword.
At the frying pan.
Let's light it up.
No menos.
Shine down.
Body and mind.
No, aquí va a tener que echarme este hijo de puta primero, que es el que me va a joder.
Witness the power of Gugwa.
There is no escape. Torn to oblivion.
Eat this! Booba, get them!
Let's light it up. Everybody stand back. Let me weave you a blade.
Inazuma shines eternal.
Ahí está.
Nice and spicy!
Teamwork is strict.
You're toast!
Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power of Gugwa.
Now
Pa' tu casa.
perish.
Hold the line! Access denied. Here comes the fireworks! Fuse is lit!
Solidify.
Rust and Reven, born of ice and... Time for a light show!
I will have order. Gather.
Torn, bring refuge! No touching! Fuse is lit! A festive reprieve!
Stabilize.
Allow me! All hail!
Vamos, ya casi mediodía.
Order guide you. Solidify.
Hold the line! Access denied. Time for a light show! Billowing surge! Right. Rebuild! Coefficient down! No touching!
Stabilize.
Access denied. For Rex Lapis!
Solidify.
Hold the line! Born of ice and frost.
Se murió. La última. 12-3. Pero esta, nivel 100, guiante.
Shine down.
No, my sword.
Booba,
Let's light it up. I'm going in. Let me weave you a bird.
Gracias, gracias. Yo normalmente cuando hago streams hago en la noche.
A minor setback. No, my sword.
Nice and spicy.
Everybody stand back.
Torn to oblivion.
Puta, se movió.
Flows through me.
Illusion shattered.
Una menos. Y entre ahora salieron dos.
Body and mind. Witness the power.
Out of the frying pan, into the
Shine down.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's
Now you shall perish.
You're toast. Race you.
no, my sword.
Oh, ataque penetrante, quita vida.
Everybody stand.
Torn to oblivion.
Let me lead you a verse.
Nice and spicy.
Let's light it up.
There is no escape.
Rain outlines your fate. Not good.
Pichazo me metió.
Eat this. Out of the frying pan.
Teamwork is dreamwork. We go.
Inazuma shines eternal.
Witness the power of Gugwa. Adventure time. Everybody stand back.
Now you shall perish. Shine down.
You're toast. Rust rebuild.
We're way
No touching. Fuse is lit. Here comes the fireworks.
I will have order.
Entre me he olvidado eso.
Gather.
Hold the line. Born of icy. Fire hazard.
Solidify.
Covenant of the deep. Fuse is lit. Blaze over. No touching. Allow me. Close the ship down.
Stabilize.
Let's move out. Rust rebuild. Born of icy. Fire hazard.
No, no, no.
Fizzled.
Bueno, es el último.
Gather.
Let's move out. Hold the line. No touching.
Solidify. Order guide you.
Torn, bankrupt you.
We're way behind schedule.
Solidified.
Rest, leave it! Huh, we're way behind schedule.
Muérete. Ahí está. Abismo completado.
Let's move out.
¿Cuánto gasta resina? Y siempre me gasta el anzuelo. Mi amor, ¿ya comieron? Venga, papu. ¿Cuál chunche? ¿Quién? ¿Cómo que tú? ¿Necia? Estoy trabajando, es diferente.
Hold the line! Illusion shattered! Everyone hold hands! Inazuma shines eternal! The fuse is lit! A festive retreat! There is no escape. Allow me. Fire hazard. Shine down. Now you shall perish.
Papucho, ¿ya comió?
Come.
Ya. ¿Usted queda a comer?
Ahí está la mía.
Está bueno.
Welcome, share my knowledge.
You are not welcome here.
There is no escape. Tournament of the Deep.
Como que hola.
Time for a light show.
Quien la ve se la cree.
For the eternal oasis. Inazuma shines eternal.
Una pequeña pausa para comer. ¿Qué, papi?
Bueno, más esta vara, man.
Está bueno.
The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory.
Diablo, comiendo a las 9:30 de la noche. En 5 minutos para comer, chicos.
All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory.
Ahorita no me estrese que estoy jugando.
Estaba bueno eso.
¿Cómo que yo lo pago? ¿Anesia? ¡Anesia, carajilla! No moleste, Andrés, a mí no me moleste. No moleste. ¿Alguien más?
Billowing surge! A brash maneuver! Fire hazard! Goes the ship down! Hey!
Shine down.
¿Qué esta semana cuándo tienes libre, papucho? Igual.
Everyone hold hands! Allow me!
Torn to oblivion.
Torn! Bankrupt you! Rebuild! Let's move out. This realm is... If you ever...
Lo llevo al máximo ya. Sunday, tomorrow morning.
Let's move out.
animales, unos barcos largos. Por arriba. Ahí.
Updated the frames. Muchos desafíos.
Está fácil. Facilito está.
Let's move out.
Ouch. Por otro lado.
Gather!
Certainly worth the extra mile.
Oh.
Stabilize.
There is no escape. Illusion shattered. No touching. Next on the agenda... We're way behind schedule. Next on the agenda...
Esta mierda. 4 horas, un día. No falta.
Let's move out.
Thank you, Willy.
Maloose, we're back.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Pasando so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Maloose? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could you tell us a bit more about...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, at a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed that night. My father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun.
Huh? How did that happen.
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. You're right.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past action. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take this on.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live. And the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict, but once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina di Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Huh. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we may be able to capture. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic... Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula here. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture this whole time.
Cell.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around, with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. Been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Malus. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of...
I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you, and to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so,
he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callus had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said...
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's Florence should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House? Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callus was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth at each other, not knowing what to say.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill, so he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything, once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then, I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life I lead today. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most. And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well. Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the Guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do was get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
I'll protect us.
Shine down!
Let the show begin. La, 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 la.
Now you shall perish!
Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Quietly now. There is no escape!
Come on! We can do it! I'll protect us.
Game's up. Fun's over.
Time to go!
Inazuma shines eternal! Shine down!
Quit it! Huh? Go, Barb! This isn't good! Higher, higher, hands on fire!
Illusion shattered!
With the wind.
Add Astra. Thank you for. Add Astra.
sunlight. But when the moon's out,